Good afternoon, everyone. This is Megan from GoGPS, and today we're going to be focusing on how to add zones into the system. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. So before we get started, I'm just going to make sure that everybody can see my screen, and then I will jump right in. So if I can have all the attendees raise a hand. Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Okay. So what we're seeing here is the map, and this is the first way of how to create a zone. So we're going to manually do one, and then I'm going to show you how to do an import, a bulk import. So manual is if you have a one-off here and there that you need to create into the system. It's quick and easy. It's done right from the map, which is what we're seeing right here. And the bulk import is done through an Excel spreadsheet that you import into the software, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just create a zone inside of the system on the map right now. And zones can be used for lots of different things. So zones are customers, offices, home zones of your drivers if they take their vehicles home, or if you want to or if you want to see if your vehicles are going to their drivers' homes during the day, stuff like that. You can also do territory. So if you have specific locations or towns or cities that you cover, and you want to make sure that they're staying inside of that zone, or if they exit, you want to be notified. So zones are multi-purpose, unlimited uses for them. You can even create a zone around, say, for an example, tolled roads. So here in Ontario, we have a 407. It's a tolled highway, and you can create a zone around it and then set up a rule to go with that zone to be notified when a vehicle goes inside of that zone, when they exit, or how long they're spending inside of it. So lots of different reasons that you can use zones. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. To create a zone here on the map, you're going to click Add Zone, and you're going to drop dots around the area you want to cover. So I'm actually just going to zoom in here. We're just going to choose a random location in Caledonia. I think there's a Canadian Tire around here somewhere. Perfect. So I'm just going to zoom into this area, and you're going to know your locations a lot better than, say, myself. But if you're curious, or if you need help creating zones around areas, whether they're homes or stores or clients, just feel free to contact service@gogps.com, and myself or one of my team members will be happy to help you. So what I like to do once we get a good idea as to where the location is, I like to change my map to the satellite version to get a better idea, so we can see here that parking lot around that Canadian Tire, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Zone at the top center of the screen here, and we're going to drop dots on the map around the area. Now, the system is super smart. It's going to connect the first dot to the second, second to third, so on and so forth. And the zone doesn't have to be a square or a rectangle. It can be any shape that you would like, whatever works best for that area. So because most locations are roughly a rectangle-ish shape, I'm going to go ahead and do that around this area. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit oblong, and that's totally fine. In this case, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's a little bit bigger than the area, just because there's not much around it that we're going to have to be worried about. And if you're setting up rules to go with your zones, so for an example, if you want to know when somebody arrives at that location or leaves, you can add a distance or duration inside of that area, so that if somebody's just driving through it, that it doesn't trigger the rule. Okay, so again, if you have questions about that, you can always let us know. We can help you set those up. So I'm just going to go ahead and create one more dot here. So it's not quite a rectangle, it's a bit of an off shape. And when I want to close it up, I'm going to click on the first dot that I started with. Okay, so I'm going to do that here. And then it's going to just prompt me to put in some information about it. So I'm going to call this Canadian, apparently I can't spell, Canadian Tire, and this is in Caledonia. Okay, we are based out of Ontario. That's why I am using this area. If you're in the States, you can put whatever title name you would like. Same thing with other locations inside of Canada. You can name them whatever you would like. You do have to make sure you publish it to a group, so it should be assigned to a specific company named group. So for us, it would be GoGPS. I'm actually filtered to the Canadian office because that's where I work out of. So my publishing group is going to be Canada. You can add notes in here, which is a really cool section. So if you have a point of contact for this zone, I'm actually just going to put in my credentials or my contact information. 696464777 extension 106. Okay, and the reason why we always say you can use this comment section is that any comment that you put on there, once we save this zone, and we go back to the map, when we hover over top of it, we're able to see that information. So you don't have to go around looking at other files to find the contact name or anything like that. It's already there for you inside of the system. Okay. If I scroll down, we have other options in here. So visible on the map. Yes, we want it to be visible. What type of what type of zone? This is a customer. So you can have, the system comes with 3 default ones. There's customer, home, and office. But as you can see, you can create as many different types of zones that you want. And the benefit for that is, I was actually just doing training with a client this morning, and they have multiple roads that if they're doing above a specific speed limit that they want to get notified for. So you can create a type of road. Theirs, I think they called it secondary logging road. And that was the type of zone. So anytime, a vehicle is doing above 40 kilometers inside of that zone type, you'll get a notification for it. So there's lots of different reasons and purposes for this. So, I mean, you can even make this, if this was a Tim Hortons, we could make it a Tim Hortons zone or a mechanic shop or repair shop, stuff like that. I am going to leave this as a customer, but I just wanted to show that you can create unlimited different types of zones, right? Do we want to indicate stops with inside of zones? Yes, we do. End date, we always choose never. So if for some reason a client or, this location you're no longer servicing, you can make it invisible on the map. And the reason why we suggest doing that other than terminating or removing the zone is that if you have to come back and say 6 months, a year to pull that information, the data is still there. However, it won't be signified as that name of zone. You would have to recreate the zone, reprocess the data, which could take multiple hours. You're probably looking at running it overnight just because you want to go back so far. So again, we never want to get rid of the zones. We always want to make sure that if anything, you can just choose to make it invisible on the map, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. All right. So that's the last portion in here. I'm just going to scroll up and I'm going to choose the map tab inside of the zones. And then it's going to choose, give us options for choosing a color. So it comes with the default one. You can choose any of these items, these color items here, or if you run out of colors, you can choose the color bar and select a different color. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my transparency. I want it a little bit lighter on the map, and then I'm going to click save. Okay. So there is our zone. Now, as I mentioned before, if I hover over top of it, it's going to show me all the information. It's going to show me the name. It's going to show me what type of zone it is, where it's based out of. So it's the Canada office. And then it has the contact information for myself. Okay. I'm also going to show you how to edit the zone as well. So this isn't just, importing zones and creating zones. This is also editing zones. So I'm just going to left click on the zone and choose to change the zone shape. Now it's going to pull up those little dots again. And what I want to do is I want to drag this in a bit because I don't want it to be on the road. So I'm going to create another dot here and just pull it in a little bit. Again, not a big deal, to be honest. I don't think a lot of vehicles are going to be, driving on that grassy part there, but it's a good possibility. However, it's just nice to be able to see that you can create and customize the zones to suit all different types of shapes. Okay, so once you've made your adjustment, you're going to go ahead and click save. It's going to ask you if you want to change any information. We don't, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit save again, and there's our zone. Nice and easy. Okay, so again, you can do this for locations like this, nice and small, or you could do the entire, the entire city or town of Caledonia, right? Like you could do the entire section of that if you really wanted to. So a lot of clients will do that so for an example, sales clients, if they have territories that they cover for sales and they don't want some vehicles going out of one territory into the other, or they want to be notified of that, that's what, that section could be used for. Okay. Now to import zones, you would just go underneath the zones and meshes section here and choose to import zone. It does give you 2 options of how to do the import. And it's more of just like the way that it's broken down. So it does have to be an Excel file. And then it is either requiring the latitude and longitude of the location or the address. We generally go for the address. It's just so much easier. And also, if it's something that you're not comfortable with doing, because sometimes it can, if you're not sure how to do it, it can duplicate sometimes. So You can always just send that list to us and say, hey, can you please import this for me? I'll be more than happy to do it. Once they're imported into the system, all you have to do is just go through your list of zones and make sure that it's covering the right area. So for an example, if you're doing snow removal or even lawn maintenance and your vehicles are parking somewhere outside of the zone, it's not going to trigger that they're there, okay? Or if they're, plowing in and around an area and it's triggering on and off because the zone's not covering a big enough space, that's going to cause some issues. So it's always good once we import them to go in and just adjust them. So just like I just showed you how to adjust them, that's exactly what you would do. So for today's purpose, I'm going to show you how to do a bulk import for just 2 zones. I do have the name of the zones, the address. I don't have any reference or comments, but I am going to identify whether or not they are circular and the size of them. Okay, so let me just pull up my file here. There we go. So I need column A and B, which are both filled out here. Okay. Oops. Let me just adjust this one here. I think I put that in the wrong cell, which is totally something I would do. There we go. Awesome. So I don't have anything for C for reference. I don't have anything for comments right now. And you can add that later on too. That's no problem. Is this zone circular? The answer you always want to put for most cases is no. It is so hard to adjust a circular zone unless you do it by hand. And when you create a circular zone, every time there's a bit of a turn in direction, there's a brand new dot that you need to adjust. So we learned the hard way a little while ago. So we always suggest to make them square, and then you can change the shape from there. So I'm going to say no, that these 2 zones are not circular. And then I'm going to make them about 50 meters. Okay, so not too big. We're going to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to now save my template, and I'm going to import this into the system. So I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to click here where it says select files. I'm going to drag and drop or click. So I will click here, and then I'm going to select my file. So there it is, training zone import. Hit open. If there is an invalid zone, it will show you, or zones, and then you can choose. There's a little highlighted button. It'll pop up if there are invalid ones, but it will allow you to export them and then make the adjustments. You do have to remember that when you're putting in the address, it does have to be, the street number, street name, city, province, or state, and then the postal code or zip code. So you do need to have all of that in there in order for it to load properly. All right, so just keep that in mind. So we do see here valid zones. I have 2 of them. So I'm going to click the import zone button here on the far right-hand side, and it's been done. Nice and easy, right? So it no longer shows any zones available to be imported. So we're going to go ahead and click the zones button on the left-hand side, and we're going to search for those 2 zones. So this one was a Tim Hortons. Okay, so a Simcoe Tim Hortons, you can click on it. You can make the additional updates in here. So I'm going to change it from a customer to a Tim Hortons zone. Okay, you never want to get rid of it. To the map, change the color. Okay, you can also change the shape right from here as well. Okay, so I'll just choose that there. Want to make sure we get that drive-through and everything. So this is a pretty big parking lot for a Tim Hortons. Okay, but you guys get the gist of how this works. Once you're done with everything, you're going to go ahead and click Save, and then it'll take you back to the zone screen here. And then I'm going to click on it one more time, and then choose to show on the map. So there is that zone right there. All right, so it's getting a good coverage. You can adjust it again if you want to make some changes. Everything looks okay, so that's great. And then the other zone was, I think it was a Canadian Tire. So I'm just going to search it here from the map. So Canadian Tire Simcoe, and there it is. So that's an awfully small square for that location. Again, super big parking lot, not a problem. You can make the adjustments. So you're going to left click on the zone, choose to change the zone shape, and then you're going to click on the dot and drag it to cover the entire area that you want to be considered as the Canadian Tire parking lot. All right. So once you're happy with that zone, you're going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, it'll ask if you want to make any adjustments or any updates. We're going to leave it as just a customer for right now. You can change, again, under the map tab here, you can change the color and the transparency, hit save, and there it is. Okay, so that is how to add zones into the system manually, as well as doing a bulk version. If you have any problems or if you end up making duplicates and stuff like that, please feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to help you with it. I think that's it for today, so I'm going to go ahead and close up the session. So I hope everybody has a great day.